Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news. The Raptors have made a big man signing, bringing in Eric Moreland now for a 10-day contract. But before we get into that and why that's pretty important coming into the next few games with Serge's suspension, I just want to make one announcement. Obviously, Riker and I have announced back in summer that we're making an all-NBA channel called Courtside Connect, but due to editing problems, all the issues that come with launching a channel with face cams and all that, it took us a while to really get it off the ground, but we've figured out all of the technical issues, and we're starting daily videos coming we're recording them every morning. They'll probably come out in the afternoon each day. So, we really appreciate if you guys check those out. We have a couple of videos from the past couple of days already up there, one from this morning. So definitely check that out if you're a fan of all NBA news. And don't be worried, the Raptors Digest content is going to be coming at the same pace. We love talking about the Raptors. Raptors are life. But definitely give us a subscribe over there. We'd really appreciate it. We got a lot of cool stuff planned for that. But regardless, the Toronto Raptors made a signing. Eric Moreland signed to a 10-day contract. Now, if you look at his stats, it's not a super exciting signing. He hasn't really found a niche for himself in the NBA. He spent a couple years with the Kings, 1 year with Detroit, where he really had his best season, played about 12 minutes per game, averaged about 2 points, a couple of rebounds, 4 rebounds, and he's an energy guy. He's a very much an energy guy. He played for the Toronto Raptors team in preseason. He didn't make the final roster cut, but definitely impressed some fans with how he played. Because he's not a guy that's gonna out-talent you. He's got the Bismack Biyombo effect where he's not super skilled, but his energy, his defense, and just his willingness to put himself out there and just be a complete manimal per se. I know Kenneth Faried has stolen that nickname from the rest of the NBA, but that's the only way to describe Eric Moreland's game. And this is going to be important for the Toronto Raptors, as Serge Ibaka has been suspended for 3 games, and it's unfortunate for the Toronto Raptors fighting for the Bucks. Hopefully we're 2.5 games behind right now, I believe, maybe 2. But we're trying to get that first seed. It's looking like we're either going to play the Sixers or the Celtics in the second round if we continue to win like we should. And it doesn't really matter at that point. So home court advantage for the whole Eastern Conference might be ideal for most playoff success. So in my opinion, I'd shoot for the first seed. But more than just the seeding, you want to go into the playoffs playing well. Obviously, you don't want to be dropping games left, right, and center to poor teams. The Cleveland one was kind of an anomaly. I don't expect that to happen on a consistent basis, but you don't want to be an unconfident team going into the playoffs. And obviously with Kawhi, we have a completely different roster, so everything should be fine. But you want to finish the season strong, and the fact Serge Ibaka is going to miss these 3 couple games could maybe make some negative momentum. And Marc Gasol, he's our really only true big man. Pascal Siakam's only our true power forward. We're running pretty thin in the front court, so this guy, I think Eric Moreland is definitely going to get some minutes over the next few games, and maybe earn himself a full-time, at least for the rest of the season, contract with the Toronto Raptors. And, despite his stats, he's played 1 game this season for the Phoenix Suns. He was signed there, I believe it was on a 10-day, didn't get much run, played 5 minutes, 0 points, 0 everything, got a foul. But he did get 3 rebounds in those 5 minutes, but not a huge sample size. So we'll go mostly off what he did in Detroit. He averaged 2 points per game, which is not impressive at all, but 4 rebounds in about 12 minutes per game. Shot 37% from the free throw line, which is horrendous. He's never shot a 3. He's not a guy that's going to get you buckets on offense. He's not that type of player. But one thing about him, I've mentioned it, he's an energy guy, and he's become a fan favorite. I know when we had him in the preseason, and if you listen back to those podcasts, and we're talking about who we should sign in, bring in, because we had on that roster Eric Moreland, Deng Adele, Chris Boucher. Obviously, Chris Boucher eventually winning out. Jordan Lloyd was there. But there's a case to be made for Eric Moreland to make a roster spot just because of how much energy he brings. And the Toronto Raptors big men, Serge Ibaka, now Marc Gasol, they aren't 2 guys that necessarily, they're obviously 1,000 times more skilled, and he's not going to take any minutes away from them, but they're not necessarily guys that are energy players. Our only real energy guy, especially in the starting lineup, is Pascal Siakam. That's just a complete motor. Obviously Kyle Lowry's the engine that makes us run, but a guy that's just going to be all over the place, get a bunch of rebounds, and he could be a good complement for those 2 guys, whether whoever's playing, if we just need a spark 5 minutes of just pure craziness. Patrick McCaw sometimes does that for the roster with how he plays on-ball defense, and to have someone that does that for defensive rebounding and, just being able to help side and all that sort of stuff could be very valuable for this Toronto Raptors team, especially with injuries. I don't suspect this guy will actually get any rotation minutes in important games when everyone's healthy, but after giving up Greg Monroe midway through the year, the Raptors lost their kind of insurance package, and potentially Eric Moreland could be a better fit as an insurance player for this Toronto Raptors roster than Greg Monroe could. as you know, he's not nearly as skilled as Greg Monroe was, but in today's league, if you can't shoot the three, which neither of them could, you need to at least be an energy big man that can guard a bunch of positions and get rebounds if you're going to try and earn minutes in this league. And I think those are skills that he's definitely shown potential to be decent in. And if we're talking the highest possible ceiling, the highest, very most, best that it could possibly be with Eric Moreland, maybe he could come in and just be a complete energy czar. Similar to Bismack Biyombo. I know I made that comparison at the beginning of the video and break some playoff records or something like that. Definitely don't expect any of that to happen, but sir, I guess that's the best case, Jeremy Lin insanity type of scenario for Eric Moreland. I think that's the best we could possibly get out of him this season. And it's good that we have this insurance, especially over the next few games. We're playing some pretty decent big men. The Lakers, I guess they're pretty thin up front these days, but we got Detroit coming up the weekend where Andre Drummond is an absolute beast down the paint when it comes to rebounding, and Blake Griffin obviously gets his fair share. So it's going to be Marc Gasol can't play 40-45 minutes a game, especially leading into the playoffs. Now, I think this is a very good opportunity for Marc Gasol to really get buckets and show what the Toronto Raptors fans what he can do, because he's a 3-time All-Star. He's played a phenomenal career. Even before he came to the Toronto Raptors, his stats and everything were way, way better than what they have been coming, since he's been integrated to this team. So this stretch of games is going to be very telling for how valuable Marc Gasol could be to this roster. And I think Eric Moreland's pickup, the fact that he's on the team right now, will allow for Marc Gasol to get some breathers, at least over the next 3 games. Because, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're very thin up front. And, for people that watched him play at the beginning of the season, there's a debate about who the Raptors should sign when, in terms of those 4 players I mentioned earlier. We inevitably went with Chris Boucher and Jordan Lloyd, but are you more excited to see Eric Moreland back with the roster? And do you think what you've seen from Chris Boucher, that either could be a more valuable NBA contributor right now? Obviously Chris Boucher is very thin, but he's not very young. Neither player is very young. Eric Moreland, he's a 6'10" power forward, 27 years old. Chris Boucher, he's 25 years old, a bit taller, a bit longer. Chris Boucher's game's more polished, but it's going to be interesting to see who gets the minutes in the front court if Nick Nurse decides to go a bit more small with Boucher or a bit more strong and aggressive with Eric Moreland. Anyways, there's not too much to break down in terms of this move. Maybe he'll come out and surprise us and have a Bismack Biyombo-like season, but I don't know. Certainly don't hold your breath. Maybe he could be a guy that makes the roster in the future. Masai Ujiri loves to pick up these players that come out of nowhere and are awesome. So let me know what you guys think of the signing in the comment section below. You're the best for making this far. Check out the Twitter, the Instagram, all that cool stuff. As I mentioned earlier, definitely check out those Courtside Connect videos. We really appreciate that. There's been a lot of work over the past few months going into those, the production and everything there, so we can actually get into, as most of you know, Riker and I are full-time students. We both also do some part-time work with on top of school and YouTube. So we really appreciate all the support you guys bring us. We make the content for you because you guys are the best fan base on YouTube, and that's legit. We love reading the comments. We love all that sort of stuff. We love engaging with you guys. This whole YouTube experience has been awesome from day one. When we were smaller, obviously we're not the hugest channel on YouTube by any means, but Raptors fans are the best. Everyone that listens to the pod. I know we got some other teams listeners, other teams followers that listen in here as well. So definitely check out Courtside Connect. I'm kind of rambling here at the end of this one, but definitely check out the vid. And the Raptors got the Lakers tomorrow. Gotta beat down LeBron. Anyways, I'm signing out. Cheers.